Good evening and welcome everybody on a slushy day here in the city of Mount Pearl. Council, you see before you for our public meeting. You see the agenda has been established. I don't see anything outside the kit. So I'm going to call for a motion and moved by Councillor Fry, thank you, and second by Councillor Lane. All in favor of the agenda? Aye. Those opposed? And that's carried. Thank you much. We'll read the lands acknowledgement first. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homelands of many diverse populations of Indigenous peoples, including the Biotech, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. We honor this beautiful land together as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. Council, you see the public minutes from January 23rd there. I think that's next on the list. Any errors or omissions first, please and thank you. Hearing none. Moved by Councillor Locke and seconded by Councillor Rice. Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that's carried as well. Council, any business arising? Please.
Thank you, Mayor. Number 029, item 029. At our last public meeting, Councillor Fry and I, under our committee report, brought in the registration for our 2024, this month's babysitting course. And we just want to remind folk that even though it says here registration online is on the following dates, the 29th, the dates have passed. But just a reminder to residents that in circumstances like this, we brought it up at our committee meeting, Mayor, which followed our public meeting, that should anybody find themselves in a financial circumstance where perhaps they are unable to afford the cost of such a course, that we just encourage our residents to reach out. We do have funding available under the Pearl program and other funding sources with the city, and they are designed intently to help people that may want to get into recreational programs. And I asked at our committee if this babysitting course, for example, is something that funding could be sought under. And of course, as always, our director, Jason Collins, and our staff at our committee say, when people reach out, we work with people. You know, we do our best to help ensure that that registration, $60 for some is not a big amount, but for others it may be a big amount. And we want to ensure that we reduce as many obstacles as we can in the city of Mount Pearl to ensure that, again, those that are in need, either through our recreational programming, sport programming, what have you, or babysitting courses like this, to please reach out to our recreation department, and we'll certainly do our best to accommodate those in need. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think the additional money was put into the Pearl program for items like this for budget 2024. Any further comments related to or business arising? Hearing none, we have a proclamation. I'm happy to invite and welcome to the chamber Kim Leonard, who is with the 211 service, which is celebrated as the National 211 Day on February 11th. So that would be the 211 part. Kim, would you like to come up and we'll do the proclamation, and then we'll talk about that play on words for a second. Hey. Great to see you. Microphone too. Okay, for later. Every year on February 11th, United Way and the 211s across Canada celebrate National 211 Day, which is a public awareness initiative of the award-winning 211 service that helps guide individuals and families through the complex network of human services by phone, online, live chat, and email. And whereas 211 is a free and confidential service available 24/7 in 170 plus languages, wow, by phone and a broad database of programs and services that can be found at nl.211.ca. The service is also available via chat and email, and whereas residents of Newfoundland and Labrador can contact 211 for information and referral to health services and mental health supports, income support and financial assistance, food banks, meal programs, and grocery delivery, housing help and emergency shelter, support services for seniors and persons with disabilities, and more. And whereas 211 Newfoundland and Labrador will be using National 211 Day as an opportunity to promote its services by inviting municipalities such as Mount Pearl to proclaim February 11th as 211 Day, organizing building illuminations, distributing 211 promotional materials, and offering information sessions both in person and virtually. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues, we do hereby proclaim Sunday, February 11th as 211 Day here in the city of Mount Pearl. And I will sign that on behalf of the city and council. And Kim, welcome, and I'd invite you if you'd like to say a few words. This is new to us. I can see by the enthusiasm on your face, you're really excited about it.
And you're the first mayor here to read out the
Mount Pearl's
proclamation.
usually first at a few things.
So I feel really special. And it was really well done. Sunday is February 11th, 211 Day across Canada, February 2nd month, 11th day. Thank you to Mayor Aker for signing the proclamation and for declaring Sunday, February 11th as 211 Day in the municipality of City of St. John's. Thank you for helping us to celebrate this invaluable service and for spreading the word about 211 and all it can do for the people of the province. We are living in very difficult times with many uncertainties, and 211 is a trustworthy and confidential service that's available to the people of our communities 24/7, 365 days a year by phone, chat, or the web. Our service navigators are certified by Inform Canada. They're highly trained and can do high-quality search on a huge database that will connect them to the many programs, services, supports, agencies, and organizations that are out there eager to help. So when you call 211, you will always get a live voice, never a message. And they're able to handle the many emotions that come along with the stressful and difficult times. So if you know someone who don't know where to turn, tell them to call 211. And if you want to learn more about 211 and the amazing benefits that it has to offer to the people of our communities, please visit our website or you can reach out to me. And you can have me back at any time.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions? Councillor Antle, then Councillor Rice, and then I'll turn my way over here.
Thank you very much for coming to our chambers, the city of Mount Pearl, just to that's okay.
We forgive you.
That's all right. We forgive you. Yeah, I think it's just awareness. How long is 211 here in Newfoundland?
Well, 211 is here in Newfoundland since 2020. It joined Canada in 2002. It was first launched in Toronto. But actually, 211 came from the United States. 1976, it started in the United States, and by 1999, it was renowned as a national model system. And so it was in every state, and then Find Help and United Way Centraide Canada worked hard to get it into Canada, and now it's in every province and territory, but Newfoundland was the last province to join.
That's a status proclamation, you know, awareness is key. I had to Google it to see exactly what 211 was. It's a great system, and I'm certainly sure we'll share it more and more. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you.
Yes, and welcome, Kim. And, you know, me too. It's first time when I read over the agenda package and I see the 211, I said, you know, this is new to me. I'd never seen it before. And there's a lot of parts. I mean, the health services, mental health, income support. So like, how is it funded? Is it funded through like the federal government? Or?
Okay, so that's the problem. Do I need the mic? That's the problem. 211 has not been funded. 211 has not been funded by our provincial government yet. We're looking for that. In order for 211 to continue service in Newfoundland, it came here at the height of the pandemic, and it was brought here by the federal government, United Way Centraide Canada, and Find Help. So Find Help are an information and referral service based out of Toronto, and they are the ones that are leveraging their donated funds to keep us in existence. But we're working with the provincial government. I'm working with the provincial government to let them know that 211 exists. And if after March 31st, you know, we don't get funding, then, you know, it won't be able to continue. And it's such, and it is a valuable service. And I've been in this position since last March. I'm a retired principal. And I took on this position in March, and part of my job was promoting awareness. And I finally feel, after this year and all the progress we've made, that it's finally starting to take flight in Newfoundland and Labrador. And our goal is to work with people to get them the help they need, because sometimes people don't know where to turn. They can't get a hold of 811 or, but we have the capacity to connect them with those services. They don't realize the impact that 211 can have. The wait times are very minimal. We're part of an expansion team that's right across the nation. So we have service navigators on call 24/7. So wait times are always less than a minute. If we need an interpreter, we'll do it through a third-party call, and we can have an interpreter on the phone for the client in less than 2 minutes. And it's being utilized by the governments and municipalities all across Canada to get their services and programs. And I'll just give you an idea, like they're good in times of crisis, like forest fires. We've been blessed here, but they've come as close as Halifax. And all last summer, 211 was all very active across the nation dealing with the forest fires and the devastation around that, and evacuating people, because the government uses them and the municipalities as a way to get it out to the people that this is what we need to do. Because let's face it, in times of crisis, people are emotional. They're not in a right state, and they have nowhere to turn. They don't know what to do. And just this past weekend, 211 was active all across the nation because of the devastation with the snow in Cape Breton. So that's how we pull together. And 211 here in Newfoundland assists with Atlantic Canada during these times.
Counselor Fry.
Hi, I am familiar with 211, but only because I am part of the Mental Health Task Force, the Municipal Mental Health Task Force, and we had a presentation on it. And I was really glad to see this as a proclamation because more people need to know about it. I do have a question though. Is there, when somebody calls 211, where does it go? Is it a local response?
Okay, so here in Newfoundland, we don't have funding. So we have one service navigator located here in Newfoundland, but we work with an expansion team, as I said. So there's always a number of navigators on 24/7. And in the queue, it's called a queue. So whatever callers call from Newfoundland are in the Newfoundland queue, and they may not be picked up by the service navigator located in Newfoundland at that time, but it will go to another one. And they have the same access to the large database that we use, so they are able to direct them to the same services. And I'll just give you another example, if you don't mind. We just became another access point for the public to find naloxone kit distribution sites near them. That was implemented very fast. The government wanted us to do that as of December. Still no funding. But we did. We worked with the service navigators and we trained them, because all we needed was they told us what they wanted, how they wanted the public to be directed, and we were able to train all the navigators who take care of Newfoundland to get that implemented in less than a week.
I guess the reason I'm asking is I know that one of the items on your list is food banks. And I know here in Mount Pearl, we have community suppers, we have incredible food bank organizations. I'm just wondering, is this information available on your 211?
Well, if it's not, it should be. And we're inviting all agencies and organizations, which is so important for me to be going around to places like this so people can understand, because we have a link that you can go to check and see if the services are there. And if they're not, it's an easy link to upload them. And it just goes directly to our database specialist, and she or he approves it to go right on the site. And that's the thing. So we have a service navigator in Newfoundland who's immersed into the community. She's been at this for 20 years. She's actually came from Toronto and was working with Find Help. And when this position became available in December 2020, she came along with it. So she's constantly updating, but there's lots of things we don't know unless by word of mouth, like, and people catch on to it like you and say, I wonder if it's there. But I can certainly send the link, and it's very easy to add. It's a database that's growing.
Well, thanks, Kim. You're very enthusiastic. I must say, you're going to be a real champion for two.
Well, thank you for having me.
Invite you to stay in contact, and I hope you make out successfully in the province and really on the ground in all of the communities that make up the province. I think it's a valuable referral service, and people, if you find two people that find it's handy and it's success for them, I think you've done a great job. And if it's more than that, it's even better, right?
Absolutely, because when I was a principal, I wish I had known this to help my families.
Let's get a picture, will we?
Ask you were a teacher, because you have that way about, I'm a retired teacher. Counselor Lane is a current teacher, so, yeah.
And I was a student.
Were you a good student?
He loved it so much, he stayed a little bit longer than he needed.
And you know, we'd ask, right? Is quality.
I knew that very well.
Step forward.
I'll lead away. Look what I.
City folk.
Excellent.
So on,
So
don't pass it.
good.
Pass it. But Kim, on Friday, the 9th through to the 11th, our city hall will be illuminated in red to celebrate.
Fabulous.
That is
Thank you
yours.
so much. This is great.
Great to meet you, by the way.
Invite me back anytime.
Welcome back anytime. You are.
Yeah, I think
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. It's a no-brainer.
Thank you, Your Worship. So our committee report, actually, for number one, we have 12 items on our agenda for tonight. Number one is our approval for our invoices for approval. The committee recommends that the following invoices be approved for payment. In your kit, you'll see 6 items totaling $210,587.75, and I so move.
Thank you. It is moved by Councillor Rice, seconded by Councillor Lane. Any questions, comments? A bit of a small list, but we have to pay our bills. I'll call the motion. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Number 2 is our payment register. For the information of council, the following payment register for January the 19th to the 31st for 2024, totaling $1,174,784.92. You see quite the amount in our kit there. I just want to make a point of interest there. You know, our regional services, which we contribute to every month, our invoices are there for Transportation Commission and City of St. John's payments. That's part of our regional services, and our City of Mount Pearl certainly pays our share of that. And that's for information purposes only.
Councillor Mantle has a question.
Just one question, it has nothing to do with regional services. The reefer repair services were $465,000. That's not a repair, I hope.
No, that's actually to pay for a new loader that we purchased in 2023.
All good, sir? All right, back to you, Councillor Rice, or council members if they have any further questions.
Yeah. Anybody else? Good. So on to number 3, our recommendation for award of contract regarding request for proposals. So number 3 is our RPF 24-002, our audit services. The city issued a request for proposal for audit services, which closed on January the 3rd, 2024. An extensive review of 2 detailed proposals received is now complete. And the Department of Corporate Services recommended award of the contract to BDO Canada LLP as the highest compliant proponent. The committee supports the department's recommendation. In this recommendation was supported by committee of the whole at their meeting of January 23rd, 2024. So recommendation for Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends that the city accept the proposal from BDO Canada LLP for audit services and award them the contract for 5-year period effective January 1st, 2024. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Rice, second by Councillor Lane. Thank you. Any questions, comments? I'll call the question. All in favor? Contraminded and carried.
Thank you, Worship. Number 4 is a recommendation for award of contract requests for proposal RFP 23-034. This one is for medical review officer services. Background, this one, the city issued a request for proposal RFP 23-034 for medical review officer services, which closed on November the 16th, 2023. There was one submission received from Fit for Work, and the review of this proposal is now complete. The proposal met all the requirements of the RFP, and the Corporate Service Department recommended that the contract be awarded to Fit for Work. The committee supported the recommendation of the department, and this recommendation was supported by the Committee of the Whole at their meeting of January 23rd, 2024. Recommendations for Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends that the contract in relation to RFP 23-034 for the medical review officer services be awarded to proponent Fit for Work for a 3-year period commencing February the 1st, 2024. And I so move.
It is moved by committee. Councillors Rice and Lane. Thank you. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Number 5 is a recommendation for award. We have lots of contracts being awarded here tonight. Award of contract regarding request for proposal for our RFP 23-036, our occupational health services. The background, the city issued a request for proposal RFP 23-036 for occupational health services, which closed on November the 16th, 2023. There were 2 submissions received, and extensive review of the 2 proposals is now complete. The Corporate Services Department recommended award of the contract to the highest compliant proponent, DMC. The committee supported the department's recommendation, and this recommendation was supported by Committee of the Whole at their meeting of January 23rd in 2024. Recommendation from the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends that the contract in relation to RFP 23-036 for occupational health services be awarded to a highest compliant proponent, DMC, for a 3-year period commencing February the 1st, 2024. And I so move.
It is again moved by Councillor Rice and seconded by Councillor Lane. Thanks. Any questions, folks? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? That's carried.
Thank you. Number 6 is a recommendation for award of contract request for proposals. This one is our number at RFP 23-032. This one is our fleet monitoring system. So the background, this one, the city issued a request for proposal for fleet monitoring services, RFP 23-032, which includes the supply, delivery, and installation and monitoring of fleet monitoring services for 3 years. So on October the 11th, 2023, the RFP closed on November the 1st, 2023, and 5 proposals were received. The highest compliant proponent is Air Automotive Track Incorporated with a proposal submission price of $120,175, HST included. The Department of Public Works recommends award of the contract to the highest compliant proponent, Air Automotive Tracking Incorporated. The committee supported the department's recommendation, and this recommendation was supported by the Committee of the Whole at the meeting of January 23rd, 2024, and I so move.
Again, repetitive we are tonight, but moved by Councillor Rice, second by Councillor Lane. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. Oh,
I
Councillor
just
Rice.
want to add actually to the
Sure.
recommendation. I went to the background, but I got to add in the other year, the year 2 and the year 3, that one. So sorry for that. I'll just continue on to the recommendation there.
Sure.
So the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends that the contract for the supply, delivery, and installation and maintenance of fleet monitoring services, RFP 23-032, be awarded to Air Automotive Tracking Incorporated as the highest compliant proponent, with a proposal submission of $64,975 for year one, and $27,600 for each of the years 2 and 3. So for the total of $120,175, HST included, which will be within the operating budget for this year. And I so move.
Again, moved and seconded. Thank you much. All in favor? Those opposed? That's carried as well. Back to you or over to Councillor Lane, is it?
Yep, over to Councillor Lane. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 7 on our agenda is request for professional development. Director Glenn Dallamont for the North American Snow Conference happening from April 28th to May 1st, 2024, Kansas City. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approval of the request for professional development by Director Glenn Dallamont to attend the North American Snow Conference in Kansas City on April 28th to May 1st, 2024. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Lane, seconded by Councillor Rice. He brought the snow with him to the meeting too. Hey, well done. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Next is a request for professional development for Director Jason Collins, the Atlantic Best Practice Mission, February 29th to March 3rd, 2024 in Montreal. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approval of the request for professional development by Director Jason Collins to attend the Atlantic Best Practice Mission in Montreal from February 29th to March 3rd, 2024, and I so move.
Again, moved and seconded. All in favor? Contraminded? Carried.
Next, we have a request for professional development for Councillors Jim Locke and Mark Rice for the FCM Annual Conference from June 6th to the 9th, 2024 in Calgary, Alberta. It is recommended that the request from Councillors James Locke and Mark Rice for travel to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference in Calgary, Alberta from June 6th to the 9th, 2024 be approved, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Lane. Thank you. Second by Councillor Rice. All in favor? Contraminded? And carried.
Okay, we have a request for permission to travel from Mayor Dave Aker for the FCM Annual Conference from June 6th to the 9th, 2024 in Calgary, Alberta. It is recommended that the request from Mayor Dave Aker to travel to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference in Calgary, Alberta from June 6th to the 9th, 2024 be approved, and I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Lane and seconded by Councillor Rice. All in favor? Those opposed?
Okay, we have another request for permission to travel for CAO Dana Spurl for the CAMA Conference from June 2nd to the 5th, 2024 in Banff, Alberta. It's recommended that the CAO's request to travel to the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators Conference in Banff, Alberta from June 2nd to the 5th, 2024 be approved, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by committee, Councillors Lane and Rice. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried. Thank you.
And lastly on our committee's agenda is our Public Works status report. For the roads, the winter shift continues for the 2023-2024 season. The primary focus is on snow clearing and ice control as work continues with snow removal from city streets, sidewalks, cul-de-sacs, fire hydrants, islands, etc. As of February 1st, all outdoor rinks are open. However, I should note they are currently closed. The city's website can be checked for further information on all rinks and daily status updates on which rinks are open or closed. For parks, the trail grooming is ongoing as the weather conditions allow. Preparations are underway for the Frosty Festival. For fleet, we have service and maintenance ongoing. All snow clearing equipment is ready for the 2023-2024 winter season and requires continuous inspection and preventative maintenance. UTM, general calls, plugged sewers, service locates, new water and sewer inspection, service inspections, camera inspections, troubleshooting, water and sewer repairs, lift stations inspections and maintenance. And the water levels at Babel's Big Pond as of January 29th, 2024, you can see in the chart below, and we're in good standing for that as well. And that's it for our committee this evening, Your Worship. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And it was a very lengthy report. You guys have certainly been really busy. And now we turn our attention to another one of our committees, the Planning, Engineering, Development Committee report. Councillor Antle.
Worship, thank you very much. And we have three things for our committee tonight. And the first one is the Birch Avenue Waterline Loop and Sanitary Trunk Realignment. There's a request for a contractor change order number 1, additional cost for the removal of unsuitable material and a ported rock fill. The committee was advised that Birch Avenue is currently being funded by ISIP funding, whereas the Birch Avenue Waterline Loop and Sanitary Truck Realignment located between Birch and Orchard is currently being funded by multi-year. The contractor, Dexter Construction, has advised that a change order is required to accommodate additional removal of unsuitable material and a ported rock, and the ported refill required for the new sanitary trunk piping to be installed within the easement, which is part of the project B2 Birch Avenue, Waterline, Loop and Sanitary Truck Realignment. This has been reviewed by the city's consultant, WSP, and it is recommended for approval. So the Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommend approval of the change order number 1 for the Birch Avenue Waterline Loop and Sanitary Trunk Realignment Project, payable to Dexter Construction for the amount of $19,967.45, HST included, to cover the additional cost for the removable of unsuitable material and a ported rock and fill required for the new sanitary trunk piping installed within the easement. And I so move.
Second.
It is moved by Councillor Antle and Councillor Rice has seconded the change order. All in favor? If there's no discussion, those opposed? Oh, sorry about that, jumped the gun a bit, but that motion is carried. Thanks.
Number 2 is the Old Placentia Road pedestrian underpass walkway, underpass remediation. It's a request for a contractor change order number 5 for additional quantity adjustments for abrasive blasting and galvanizing. The committee was advised that invoice number 7, payable to the project contractor Eric Taylor Limited, requires a quantity adjustment to highlight the additional quantity amounts required above the tendered values noted for the abrasive blast and recoat deteriorated sections. Therefore, a change order is required for the amount of $3,708.75, HST included. The Planning and Engineering Department recommend approval of the change order number 5 for the Old Placentia Road pedestrian underpass walkway remediation, payable to Eric Taylor for the amount of $3,708.75, HST included, to cover the additional quantity amounts required above the tendered values of noted for the abrasive blast and recoat deteriorated sections. Further, the current project completion date for the multi-year projects funding agreement was June 2023. The construction work has concluded with a construction time of January 25th, 2024. There are ongoing consultant disputes that require the extra funding to be extended until these disputes are resolved. The anticipated completion date for the ongoing design disputes is November 5th, 2024. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends approval of this project timeline extension to November 15, 2024, and bring this forward for a ratification. And I so move.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Rice. I got to ask a question. Money's not flowing towards disputes. Disputes get resolved first and then money may flow. I just want to make sure I've got it right for the record. Maybe Director Antle?
Thank you, Your Worship. The construction work is, the scope per the tender is complete. The design aspects are the parts that we don't have finalized. So there are some ongoing concerns being resolved through that aspect of the work.
The ongoing design disputes, it's in the past. This is November 15th, 2024. So that's as of that date?
The construction activity and the tender, the design for that is complete. There's some additional scope that we have some consideration through the consultant to be resolved.
Just want to clarify. Thanks. All in favor or any other discussion first? All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
We can get Birch Avenue up and done. And number 3 is the building and occupancy permit list for January 1st to January the 12th, 2024. There's three there. First one is residential for $4,200. The second one is for commercial for $21,000. And that gives us a total of $25,200, and I so move.
Second.
It is moved by Counselor Antle and second by Counselor Rice. All in favor of the permits? Those opposed? Carried.
And also the last one in your kit is our occupancy permits issued. There's three there, and I so move.
Okay, and that moves the occupancy permits. Thank you, Counselor Antle, second by Counselor Rice. All in favor and contrary-minded, and that's carried as well. Thanks. Sorry, we're going to talk recreation and community safety. Are you delivering the report? What do you think? Are you? Are you declaring? Are you declaring? Okay, please leave the room and we'll see you in a second. How's that sound? Councillor Antle, for the record, is declaring a conflict of interest as it relates to the Knights of Columbus milestone event funding. Leading the way is Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. We have three items on our committee report this evening. I'll take the first two and I'll turn it over to Councillor Fry to conclude our committee report. The first, as you mentioned, Mayor, is the milestone event funding application from the Knights of Columbus. We do have funding available to our community groups to highlight and mark milestones, as the title suggests. And in this case, the Knights of Columbus is celebrating their 50th anniversary in the city of Mount Pearl, and they do a lot of good work. They have done a lot of good work. They continue to do a lot of good work. So our committee is happy to recommend approval to support the milestone event funding to the Knights of Columbus in the amount of $8,000 once all receipts have been received from their 50th anniversary celebration event. And that event is scheduled to take place in June of 2024. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Locke, seconded by Councillor Fry. Thank you. All in favor? Wait, no, any discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Carried. Thanks. Let's invite Councillor Antle back, please.
And our second item here, Mayor, is just for information purposes, and it has to do with our family snowshoe and cross-country ski program. And this is just to remind our residents, and certainly any visitors to our city, that we have the family snowshoe cross-country ski program up at Powers Pond for our winter season. This program is free. So the rental period for, snowshoes or skis is for a period of 2 hours. And it's available Monday to Friday from 2:30 in the afternoon until 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m. And again, this is free, just another activity and program that we have here in the city of Mount Pearl to promote active living to our residents. But again, we also extend a welcome to any visitors to our fine city. And just note that the days of operation are, of course, weather dependent and based on snow cover, of course. So if you want to learn more about the rentals and whether they're going available, please visit our city's website for updates. And that's it for my two items, Mayor. I'll turn it over now to my colleague, Councillor Fry. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Locke. So very shortly, we are coming into our Frosty Festival period, and I get to talk about that tonight. The 42nd Annual Mount Pearl Frosty Festival will run from February the 9th to the 17th, and there are more than 40 events over 9 days. And there are so many events. I mean, there are ticketed events that's all over social media, but there are also other events like Admiralty House are having a scavenger hunt, and there's a dog walk, and there's kids activities, and so many events. I hope people take advantage of it. And for more information on that, they can go to the Frosty Festival website for a full list of events that are taking place. The indoor and outdoor activities that are planned will delight all ages. There's something for everybody. And it's a great festival for the entire community. It's something that we take a lot of pride in and our residents take a lot of pride in. And I know that we will be at as many of these events as possible. And we look forward to seeing all of our residents and friends as well, other friends. And that's it for our committee this evening, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I think that brings to a close the formal part of the agenda, at least the committee reports and whatnot. For a quick roundtable, I'm going to start with Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of items here. First, although the date has passed, February 2nd was World Wetlands Day. And I just want to speak to this briefly here. I know Councillor Antle and Councillor Rice will likely provide some further details. But this year's theme is wetlands and human well-being for our World Wetlands Day of 2024. And this year's campaign spotlights how important wetlands are and interconnected wetlands are to human life and human activity. And oftentimes they're seen as swamps or wasteland or boglands, but they provide a valuable role within our ecosystem. So with people drawing sustenance, inspiration, resilience from these productive ecosystems, importantly, the theme for 2024 underscores how all aspects of human well-being are tied to the health of the world's wetlands. And I know I've spoken to this before, that we take it very seriously here in Mount Pearl. We have a green lens in the city of Mount Pearl in all of our decision-making around our committee tables and the council tables, that we always give high priority to the impacts on our climate. So the purpose of World Wetlands Day is to reaffirm the value of our wetlands globally and to highlight their importance, how they serve our local communities, and of course, their crucial role to the greater environment. And as we see more and more urban sprawl and urban development, oftentimes in the past, these wetlands have been filled in, have been drained. But now with new knowledge, we realize the importance of these, and in many cases, they are preserved. So as I said, they make significant contributions to the global environment. They act as a natural filter, water filters for many contaminants. They trap and store carbon. We all know that with climate change and global warming. They decompose organic pollutants. They trap suspended sediments that otherwise would clog our waterways. And as I just mentioned, they help lessen the impacts of climate change. I just want to highlight, we're very, very proud of the wetlands that we have in the city of Mount Pearl. Upper Powers Pond we have, alongside the areas of the Waterford River, I think down around Steady Waters, that big, beautiful wetlands down there as you're walking the T-Railway, down by Forest Avenue and between Winston and Forest. And of course, you can see waterfowl there, birds, fish, ducks. So it's a beautiful part of our city. We also have an extensive wetlands in Branscombs Pond, and of course, up in Wyatt Boulevard, the areas east and west of Wyatt Boulevard. They're also the wetlands area that we are keenly interested in maintaining and preserving and doing our best with that. So I just wanted to bring it here, bring public attention to it. And again, the value of these wetlands, they're not wastelands. They are an important key and link to our city environment, but certainly to the global environment. And the second item, Mayor, I get this request, probably once or twice a winter from residents, and they always inquire as to why we can't clear our trailways, our walkways throughout the city. I know Councillor Lane highlighted that trail grooming is ongoing, and we focus some key areas up around Powers Pond. I know over on Sunrise Trail, they do some grooming and the T-Railway. And people would, they're very widely used, and it's a great service again that we provide to try to promote active living year-round in the city of Mount Pearl. But as I explained to the residents, we have over 60 kilometers of trails here. And can we do it? Absolutely, we can do it. Our staff can do anything that we ask of them with respect to snow clearing. And as an aside, I thought of it as Councillor Lane was speaking. The snow episode we had a couple of Saturdays ago, or a couple of weekends ago, I was very impressed when I drove through the city the next morning at how quickly our crews got the snow pushed back. It was just, it was wonderful. They do such good work. But getting back to our trailways, we could do it. But again, there's 60 kilometers that would require extra human resources, extra equipment, extra salting. And of course, once we clear them, then of course we get the rain events that we have right now and they would ice over. So then you'd have to maintain it. So it comes down to a cost that someone would have to pay the price of that, and the taxpayers would ultimately have to be asked to foot the bill for clearing these trailways. So as a compromise, some years back, council agreed to invest in snow grooming equipment where we don't actually remove the snow, but we compact it down, we level it, which makes it good for cross-country skiers, snowshoers, or people just in their winter foot attire to allow them to walk along, the main artery, shall we say, of trailways throughout the city. So I just wanted to mention that here, Mayor, generally to the public, our friends with the shoreline might want to highlight that it's not that we can't do it. It comes down to, using our financial resources prudently. And in this case, that's what we try to do. That's it for me, Mayor. I thank you.
Thank you. And I do think there's a high satisfaction level with our snow clearing and the balance we've struck between streets, sidewalks, and ultimately trails. And winter use is safe in the city, as well as a bit of fun at times too. Councillor Antle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, Councillor Locke, we talked about our wetlands and how important the wetlands are here within the city of Mount Pearl. I mean, we have multiple wetlands, as you talked about, Powers Pond and Waterford River and so on. But last year in summer of 2022 and 2023, the city partnered with the Conservation Corps here of Newfoundland and Labrador to conduct studies on the health of the Waterford River and help to develop recommendations for the Waterford River and the management plan. Here we do take the Waterford River, our wetlands very seriously here in the city. I mean, we do everything we can to protect them, and we will continue on to do that. So wetlands are very important within the city. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend the library board. Our Councillor Lane is our representative on the library board, and she was down to South Sunning, so I had the opportunity to take a look. So anyhow, while I was there, some things were brought up, like May the 2nd, they'll have the 35th anniversary. And, our library is quite important here in the city of Mount Pearl. One of the things they talked about, they have a maker space. I didn't know what a maker space was, but it's very important within the city, within our libraries. All libraries within across Canada now has the maker space, and you can Google it and find exactly what the maker space is. But one of the things is a hydroponic area that they grow with different kinds of vegetation, and they teach children how to grow it properly. And when at the end of 6 weeks they give away all this product, they grow lettuce, they grow basil, it's growing sage. It's worthwhile to drop out of the library and take a look. It's really eye-catching as soon as you walk in. Our Mount Pearl Library, which I was really amazed, is the second busiest library in the province. And I was amazed at how busy they are. On average, our library lends out 10,000 books a month. I mean, that's not counting the activities they have, like computer studies, people dropping them in to do this kind of things, but it's 10,000. And they have so many programs. And when I was there, I was so surprised. They have a knitting group, they have a book club, digital learning, family trivia nights, board game afternoons, climate collective, accessible book clubs. They have so many things. That's only naming a few. They have kids programs. They have a Lego play area, drop-in story time, creation time, seasonal programming for each of our seasons, and pause for stories. And that's just a tip. And I was so impressed. And when I was done, they said to pass on publicly, thank you very much to Councillor Lane. She is our representative, and she said you're doing a fabulous job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the update, and over to you, Councillor Rice. And I do believe Councillor Lane, she's very, very busy, but I think it sounded like sunny, but I think it was study. And I want to say good luck in your courses this term.
Thank you, Worship. So yes, just to continue on, actually, one part, I guess, of our wetlands here in the city. I just want to say actually a big thank you to Alana Felt, who is our part of our city planning department. She's been an intricate part of the planning in the city and supervising the teams that have been here doing the work here in the city. So in the summer of 2023, the CCNL Green Team identified and assessed and categorized conditions of the river, specific areas, highlighting areas of priority in terms of watershed maintenance or reputation. A part of this project was also mapping out conditions of riparian zones and identifying native and invasive plant species in those areas. something which is, I'm sure is very new to us, a lot of people around the city. That pose potential threats to the watershed and wildlife that inhabit the river area. So the green team worked under the supervision of Alana, and results were accumulated in the mapping data that had been, so right now it's in the city's GIS system. And this data will be used to inform the city's Waterford River Watershed Management Plan, and will better assist the city in the short and long-term planning for the Waterford River area, which is very important. So we continue to protect, preserve, and we appreciate the value of our wetlands. So very, very much, appreciate the work that Lana's done there and the team. And hopefully we get some new information in the future. I also got a couple of small items to add into. I just want to say a big congratulations, I guess, to Tony and Tina Burke of the print shop here in Mount Pearl. They've had 50 years in business. So I want to say a big congratulations to them for the 50 years of service for the city of Mount Pearl. And I also want to say a big happy birthday today goes out to my father-in-law, Lawrence Squires, who is up at Masonic Park. And he is 85 years old today. So I want to say a big happy birthday to him and a big congratulations, a great milestone in his life. And we celebrated this past weekend with all the family around. So, I think that at stage in his life now, I think family is the most important thing to him. And he certainly was happy that everybody visited up at his place up in Masonic Park on Sunday. So big congratulations to him on his 85th birthday. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you and happy birthday, Lauren. And now over to you, Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. Much of what I was going to say this evening has already been covered, so it's just one for me. The Church of the Good Shepherd will be having a pancake dinner on Tuesday, February 13th. The dinner includes sausages, pancakes, homemade beans, and dessert at a cost of $10 per adult and $6 for children under 10. These are takeout dinners and can be picked up starting at 5 p.m. and eat-in will be at 6 p.m. Tickets are available from the church office from 1:30 to 4:30 on Monday to Wednesday and 9:30 to 12:30 on Thursday, or by calling 747-1022. They also accept EMT. I get this every year and it's quite delicious. And I encourage residents, if you're looking for a pancake supper and you don't want to make it at home, this is a great place to avail of that. That's it for me this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lane, and over to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you. Just a couple of things from me. Like Councillor Lane, much of everything has been said. But I do want to send out a big congratulations to our O'Donnell High School community. We went to the Shrek production the other night, and it was incredible. It was such talent, but what impressed me the most was their commitment to it. Like they were so invested into the roles, and I was so proud of them. And of course, Sean Carroll, who is the music teacher there, this is his last one. You know, they've done, I believe it was 13 of these musicals over the last 25, 26 years, and Sean has done 12 of them. So this was his final production as music teacher there, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. So a big congratulations to all of those who were involved. And Isaac Manuel was Shrek, and he was so funny. He did a great job. Also on the weekend, I want to send a congratulations to the Summit Artistic Swimming team. They had their Winterfest at the Summit Center, and I went up to see, and I'm always amazed at how they can go underwater and they all come up and their legs come up at the same time. I mean, it's really something to watch. And I know that a lot of work and a lot of hard work and a lot of planning goes into it. So just wanted to say congratulations to them as well. And that's it for me this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I just want to end on the O'Donnell theme too, right? So big congratulations to Brad Jones and all the staff, students, volunteers, alumni, and other people who participated. It was an amazing show. I think at one point in the finale, they probably had about 30 people on stage. That didn't include all the people in the backstage areas working on it technically, those that organized it. And a little unknown thing, the substitute teachers and the extra teaching that the regular teachers had to do when everybody was outside of the class sometimes during the daytime, right? So, my congratulations to everybody at O'Donnell. It was a great show. And on that note, let's end on a very positive note like usual. And I'm going to call for a motion, but thank you, Councillor Antle, and second by Councillor Lane. We are adjourned.